Thank the member, and I call the member for Grey.
Deputy Speaker, I spoke on Tuesday about being smarter as we go about the business of representing the people of Australia, of tackling solutions, not headlines, of listening to people and acting before the symptoms blow up and become unmanageable. There's no greater example of the need for Labor governments to do better than the algal bloom that has been crippling South Australian coastline, killing marine life in the Gulf of St Vincent and now affecting the Spencer Gulf, in Port Lincoln and now Franklin Harbour, where we're closing down mussel and oyster operations. It took 4 months for the South Australian government to take any meaningful action. During that time, marine scientists, oyster farmers, fishers and small business operators were desperately calling out to raise the alarm. The calls went unanswered until the story finally made headlines, when thousands of dead fish and marine life washed up on suburban beaches, not Edithburgh's. It took public outrage to drag the government to West Beach, where they kicked around some sand, posed for some photos in front of dead fish and announced a $14 million package. Even then, the support on offer appears rushed and inconsistent. For example, a caravan park might qualify, but the B&B won't. A tackle shop is eligible, but the surf shop misses out. This is yet another case of a flat-footed Labor government hoping a problem will quietly disappear, instead of listening to those directly affected and acting, or worse, refusing to take responsibility and blaming it all on climate change. Governments must do better. Our coastal communities and the seafood industry deserves more. Last week I had the great pleasure of calling 10 volunteer-led organisations across my electorate to let them know they've been approved of funding under the Stronger Communities program. 3 groups based in Oodnadatta, Smoky Bay, Minnipa, Cyancutter, Coffin Bay, Port Germain, Burra, Melrose and Wallaroo do incredible work for their communities. For many of them, the grant funding will make a real and immediate difference. That's especially important at a time when so many volunteer organisations are doing it tough, stretched thin by financial pressures and now burdened with additional ATO reporting requirements for not-for-profits. That's why I'm deeply disappointed to learn that the Labor government sought to axe this program prior to the last election. At the 11th hour, they reinstated it, but now with much narrower eligibility criteria. Many small groups, especially in the regions, found themselves shut out of capital improved funding altogether, a further slap in the face for volunteers who are already weathering years of drought. I hope there will be around 10 of the Stronger Communities program, and I urge the government to restore the original guidelines, which worked well. Regional Australia is the backbone of our country. We should be backing our volunteers, not making it harder for them to get the support they need.
Thank the member, and I call the member for Dixon.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker.